Okay, I'm back. Same day, same topic. You hear something cool? Maybe you couldn't hear that. That's my code red being poured over ice. That's what I bought last time. And Orange Crush. Okay, back on the topic of codename Nicha's Happy Place. And in the previous video, if you remember correctly, do a little recap for you here. I mentioned Snow White. Well, on the very same link, see here, the object of implementation of self-rape right here, the Avon bottle poodle, is this, where maybe, the mention of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is in complete order, if you think about it. How many times did the Seven Dwarfs have to rape codename Nicha to equal 2100? Bing! The magic number, 300. So, that's that. And I did think about the church sessions thing earlier. My info kind of collided. They might have gone to church without me one time, but Big Brother was with them. And that may be totally wrong. I may be just, my mirrors are fogging over or crossing each other. The time they did go somewhere without me, that it snowed. I thought about it after I did the first video and it was uploaded, and I did this and that to it with the links and stuff. It was to Colombia, and I was too sick at that time to go. And the reason I remember it, my mom kept calling. Are they home yet? Are they home yet? No, Mom, but I'll let you know the moment I hear the van in the driveway. Because she was really worried because it had gotten really bad out. Well, I was worried too, but I try not to let on. And they had told me when they got home, and she usually always had a big smile on her face when she spoke. Until the time she told me she was practicing being somber, which is a whole nother thing. But they had pulled off, which was our norm, there at that rest stop on I-70 to relieve ourselves, to get out and walk, from our parking place up to the bathroom. And he bought them a can of soda, which is no big deal. And then he said after they turned off I-70 and got on to 65, which is an 18-mile drive to Sedalia from turning off there, that they had followed a snowplow basically all the way back to town, which I don't doubt, because I've been in the same position before, to be behind a snowplow. And he thought that was his best bet to stay safe. And you have to remember, they had him on a cocktail of meds, and he had to do all this driving, which to me is insanity. But at that point, everything was so insane anyway. What's the use of questioning? All you're going to get is a dumb look, right? At least that's what I found. But the best bet at that point was to stay behind the snowplow. At least, well, at least not right up on it, but at a distance, maybe a car length or two, at least 2 car lengths, that you're driving on a plowed road, not driving through snowdrifts or whatever it was at that point, a buildup of snow. And that was quite a fierce storm, and I tried to find info on it later but couldn't. But I mean, they even in my mom's own words, she never let on like there was any monkey business. He never, when my mom was around, and she was around quite a lot more than the family up north, by a long shot, 1,000 times more, that he never seemed out of the way. And I might, Google that for you here when I get done if I can remember. Because some people say that Missouri people talk funny. I've had that thrown up at me a number of times in the past. You just talk funny. Well, okay. I'll try to remember to Google this for you. What out of the way means, okay? So, there you have the object of self-rape implementation. Right here, center screen, center stage. And you have this kid who definitely hates her stepmother enough to try to kill her on the steps. And that's after therapy started. Before therapy started, stepmother had to call the police to try to get some kind of understanding between real life and codename Nicha, whose brain still must be plugged in up at the commune, because we just could not and would not live that way. I'm still that way. I am not communal. I am not communal property. I am not communal this, that, and the other thing. I don't even go to potluck suppers anymore. At one time, John and I loved to go to the potlucks and the different groups and stuff in church that we went to. But not now. Okay, so I scroll on down here. I don't know how much other stuff is on here that I overlooked as far as comments or different ones that you have to click see more sometimes, or like this one, see more. Okay, that commune had their big whoop-de-doo as what they're calling Essenes. Another thing you'll have to Google, or I'll link it up with you. And I found this one day. I was peeking in there from Dead Sea Scrolls and the Life of the Ancient Essene, Land of Darkness, Chapter 7. Things and men are great by comparison. Every tyrant seeks to make himself great by destroying the works of the tyrants who precede him, and by increasing his power over his subjects by trickery and deception. What have I been saying all along? What does Miss Codename Nicha and her rape buddy, the Avon Poodle, and the preacher that found her masturbating with great abandon or concentration on the floor, and the preacher she had molested? Those were from her mother's own words, not mine. I've shown you. All this has in common something very, very satanic is up with all this. This is an idol. This is what the Christian faith would know as an idol. Okay? She made this into a graven image of her dad. Blamed the rape on him. Because as I had talked about previously, what else can you call a place but a happy place if she herself didn't call the police as I had done, which prompted her report on me to her mother. She didn't decide to just all of a sudden, hey, they're gone, they'll be gone a while. I've got the phones here. I know what 911 is and how to dial it. I'm going to get this little problem taken care of ASAP. That's why that house was a happy place and not a sad place, or she would have fought her mother, because she said those rapes started day one in 93, and she wasn't there permanently. Those plans had not been finalized that our house was going to be her permanent residence until after 6 weeks. We took her back in 6 weeks, and they were going to decide then, her mother and her, and probably her commune buddies, were going to decide if 208 South Washington Avenue, Sedalia, Missouri, 65301, would become her legal residence, with her dad as her legal guardian. So, why then did she get the rest of her belongings at that point? Moved to Sedalia at the end of that 6 weeks. And even further, go with us to the court in Iowa for the divorce decree modification, which legalized her new address and her guardian. So there's 6 weeks she goofed off right there. Between day one, where she said she was where the rape started, getting raped 2 to 3 times a day, to the 6 weeks up until she went back. And I don't remember at this point whether it was our gas trip or her mom's, because there was an arrangement they would do it every other time. If we took her up there and let her off, her mom would bring her back. If her mom came and got her and picked her up to take her there, then John and I would go up there to bring her back, to split the cost, you see, to split the road time, because it was like a 5-hour drive. Best I remember, 5 hours, to split the trips. So it wouldn't all be on one person. So that initial first visit back to the commune in 93, after arriving with her brother, the brother had all of his belongings. He was the older one. The custody hearing wasn't about him. It was about her. Do you see? So not only did she have 6 weeks and then the visit at the commune and then the custody hearing to decide to change her mind and not live a life of being raped 2 or 3 times a day. She had all these other times after that to put the brakes on it. To every time we left out of the driveway, get on that phone. Call the sheriff's department. Call 911. Call grandma. Call aunties. Call whoever. See you in the next video.